Doing? Hope you are doing great today. Today we are going to talk about everything you wanted to know about data analysis process, but were afraid to ask. Let me tell you upfront that what you know about data analysis process is not correct. So here going to clarify all your doubt about data analysis process. But before I get started, like I mentioned every time, please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button. I have covered a lot of ground on maths. I have lots of videos on maths. I have done presentations on math. Take a look at those videos. It will help you out. Please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if you like my presentation. And please share my videos with your friends. I appreciate that. So without further ado, let's get started about the data analysis process. Like I said, everything you knew about data analysis process is not correct. So let me clarify your doubt. Data analysis process. So first thing we have to worry about is what is the problem we want to solve. So what is the problem you you want to solve? I will give you an easy example of that. At an university, they have hired me to find out what is the average age of all students. Example, EG stands for example. What is the average age of students at the campus? Question is, you might ask, is why? Why suddenly they want to know what is the average? Think of the university, it's a big campus, right? So the people at the top, president, vice president, they want to allocate funds for the student. They can only allocate funds to different activities if they know what activities to organize, but what activities they will organize will depend on the age of the student. Some people might watch movies, some people might want to watch concerts. So what kind of activities should they organize, where should they fund? For that they need to know about the average age of all the students. So question number 2 in the analysis process, step number 2, how to measure or how to collect information. You have heard before, information is also called data. So you can ask students, sample of students, what is your age? Each student, what is your age? This is pretty straightforward. So the next stage is data collection. Question there can be, should we use existing data? Existing data or collect new information? Now we use existing data only if we think that existing data is collected with the same goal in the mind, here to find the age of the students. Or the existing data may be too old, out of date, then the best option is to start new, start fresh. Maybe we should conduct a survey of students. You have heard about the word survey, right? Survey is where you are asking a group of people certain questions, they're filling out forms, they're answering yes, no, or they're writing information down. So we collect information from through the data collection stage. What is the next important step? Is summarize the information. The information in tables or charts. So we have summarized the information, but we have not yet interpreted the results. So what do we do? So next step is where statistics comes in handy. Use statistical methods to analyze information. Now you will ask me what is a common statistical technique. Very easy, we want to find the mean age of the students in my sample. I ask each student in my sample selected, what was your age in years at your last birthday? I do not want a fractional month, I only want age in years at the last birthday. I add up all the numbers, divide by the sample size, I will get the sample mean age. Okay. Then we will interpret the results. Okay. What is interpreting the results mean? Draw conclusions about the population from the sample data. From the data. Now here you have seen me using two words. Okay, I've used two words. So these are the 6 steps. The last step is to interpret the results, draw conclusion about the population. So which draws me to the term population. So what is population? Population is the entire collection of individuals. Entire collection of individuals. In this case, students in the campus. Most of the time we cannot reach the entire population. You get the fact, because population is too large. There may be 10,000 students in the campus. How can I reach 10,000 students? I do not have too much time and money in hand to do all the contacting and collecting information. Therefore, I might work with a sample which is a part or subset of the population. Why do I work with a sample instead of the entire population? Because sample size is small. It's much easier to talk to 50 students selected in my sample than to 10,000 students in the entire campus. Okay? So I work with a sample which is a part or subset of the population. And that brings me to the term descriptive statistics. Descriptive Descriptive stats. Okay, this is where we organize and summarize the data. And summarize the data. And summarize the data. Okay, so that's descriptive statistics. Remember, I'm working with a sample, but my whole goal is to get the average age of the population. I told you I cannot reach the entire population. I do not have too much time to do that. I worked with a sample. I got a sample mean age. From that, I have to make a conclusion about the population mean age. And that part is called inferential statistics. Inferential stats. Stats is the short form of the word statistics. Okay? Comes from the word inference. Or draw a conclusion. Or draw a conclusion. Conclusion. About the population characteristic. About the population characteristic. In this case, the mean age. Characteristic. In this case, population mean age. Okay. Okay. So inference, we are going to draw a conclusion about the population characteristic from the sample data, from the sample information. Will we be always right in our conclusion or in our inference about the population mean age in this case? No. So what is a statistician's job? How to limit the risk or chance of drawing a wrong conclusion about the population characteristic. Again, a statistician's job is to select the proper method so as to limit the risk of making a wrong conclusion about the population characteristic based on the sample data. Got that? Any question? Please do not hesitate to ask me a question in your comment and I'll answer to each and every question that you have. Okay. So let's work on some problems on the other side of the board. Okay. So I'll turn the board, give me a minute. Okay, as I said, we are going to work on some sample problems. So let's do that. Okay. So here's the situation. Not too good, not too bright. Let's see if it will be better with this one. So students at a large university want to change their grading scale A, B, C, etc. to A minus, then B plus, then B, then B minus, etc. Okay, so 200 students are interviewed to determine their attitude towards the proposed change. So, question A, part A, what is the population of interest? And part B, what group of students okay, constitute the sample? The sample. So let's think for a minute. Let's read to the problem. Students at a large university want to change their grading scale from A, B, C, etc. to A minus, B plus, B, B minus, etc. 200 students are interviewed to determine their attitude towards the proposed change. What is the population of interest? Part A, part B, what group of students constitute the sample? So the entire collection of students, okay, is the population. So part A, entire population, entire collection of students at the university form the population. Form the population or forms the population. Entire collection. This is important. Everybody is included. Every student who's registered, attends classes, they're included in the population. You got it? Any question on that? Part B. What group of students constitute the sample? Of course, I do not have time to contact all the students, so I'm working with a subset or part of the population, and that is this 200 students who are selected to participate in the survey. The survey is all about finding out what is their attitude, what is their thinking on the proposed change. So 200 students who are selected to participate in the survey, they form the sample. Any question or any doubt on this? Shoot me an email or shoot me a message and I will answer each one of your questions. Okay, so here we talked about population and sample. Okay, Let's with another example. So second example. Okay. Supervisors of a county are interested in determining what proportion of property owners support a sewer system. Because it is costly to contact all 7,000 property owners. A survey of 500 owners is undertaken. Is undertaken. Describe the population and the sample. Population and the sample. Okay. So again, let's read the problem. So my suggestion is when you solve a word problem to read it at least more than once. Like I'm doing it reading second time. Supervisors of a county are interested in determining what proportion of property owners support a sewer system. Because it is costly to contact all 7,000 property owners, a survey of 500 owners is undertaken. Describe the population and the sample. As you all know, population is the entire collection of individuals. So population here is all consist of all 7,000 property owners. Okay, clear? 7,000 property owners as stated in the problem, they all constitute the population. Then the survey is done not on all 7,000 people but only on 5,000 of the 500 property owners. Okay. So the sample consists of 500 owners out of 7,000 who are selected to participate in the survey. Who are selected to participate in the survey. Participate in the survey. So as you can see in this problem, 7,000 people, not possible to contact them. And the only reason is time limitation and resource limitation. Therefore, we draw a sample of size 500 and ask those 500 property owners, are they interested to support the sewer system. So 500 property owners is part of the big population of 7,000 property owners in the county. That is the entire population size, out of whom 500 are selected. So 500 constitutes the sample. So I want to close here. If you have any question, any comment, please do not hesitate to drop me a note. I will answer each individual question. Also, it will be interesting to understand where you are watching from. And please subscribe to my channel by hitting the red subscribe button, and also please click on the notify button, because the notify button, if you click on it, it will notify you every time I upload a new video, which I do quite often. I have solved all kind of math problems. I have some interesting travel video in my shorts also. You can take a look. And again, please subscribe to my channel and let your friends know about my channel. And please do not hesitate to watch me tomorrow when I'll be back with another interesting video. Thanks for taking the time to watch my video. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Take care. Have a nice day. See you next time.